This demo is going to go through Photopea, and it's going to show you two different ways to edit color balance and the white balance that we're seeing in the pictures. So it'll go through two color balance pictures. So first, at this point, you should have the Skill Builder photos saved into a folder where you can access them. So we're going to do Open from Computer. We're going to start with Grads. Click Open. Great example of this being way too green and way too blue. So we automatically want to make sure we are adjusting that color balance. So when I go to layers, I'm going to click on new adjustment layer and choose color balance. I'm going to minimize this and then I can see all of my adjustments. Yours might default in the shadows, which is great. We're just going to peek in the shadows. It looks really blue, so I'm going to and green. So I'm going to start with the greens. I'm going to decrease the greens and we can see that already looks better. I don't want to do it so much that the shadows start to look magenta, but I do want to decrease those. And then with the blues, I don't want to actually decrease those because it starts to become too yellow. So I'm going to keep those at 0. I'll just highlight this, click 0. I can play with the reds and same thing, red should stay at 0 also. Now we're moving on to midtones. Decrease the greens. When I adjust the greens and the midtones, doesn't really change it how I want it to. I'm going to try blues. There's a little bit of a warmer tint, so I want to stay away from the yellows. So that means I'm going to increase blues, which actually is looking much better. And when I change the reds, I could decrease them slightly. Last step is highlights. Once again, we're looking for that neutral white. So when I bring the blue up and the highlights, we can see it really neutralizes. Bringing up the blue will help with that. So that's the main thing I did, and then decrease the green. And this is a great example of balancing that white balance. So this is what it looked like when we opened. This is the end of a much more neutral picture, which looks great. You're going to save this as a PSD, and then you're also going to export it as a JPEG. We'll do one more color balance picture. So we're going to do File, Open. You're going to choose Homework this time. This is a great example of an image that was taken when the color balance, the white balance was way off. Oftentimes kids ask, why can't I just correct it in Photoshop? Because sometimes you can't. So with this one, I'm going to have you go to your layers, click Color Balance. I'll minimize this. Start in highlights, that's what I'm defaulting to. So I know yellow is balanced by blue, so I'm going to bring the blues up. And it is better, not 100%, but I can also try decreasing the reds a little bit, and that is helping a little bit. Now if I go to my midtones, reds aren't really helping on this one. Greens, not too much, and blues, don't want to mess with that. Shadows is my last one. And when I do some of these adjustments, I'm not seeing a helpful change. So I can just click on each of them, highlight them, and change them back to 0. And same thing, that's not very helpful. So this was really the best that I could do. It's even still really blue. I'm going to go to the highlights and bring that down just a little bit. And maybe even the midtones. I didn't even change it. So it still isn't 100% correctly balanced. So that's why setting your exposure and white balance to start when you're taking the photos is going to benefit you into a higher quality picture in the long run. Go ahead and save this as a PSD and then also export it as a JPEG. So you've got both of those saved.